Hey everybody, and welcome to my channel, Probation Officer's Perspective. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that notification bell to all so you'll be notified of all the new content that I'm pushing out. And I want to thank everybody for their support. That includes all the other content creators, everybody, just everybody, all the subscribers, just everybody that's supported me. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. All right, as you've seen on the thumbnail, a regular visit to see your PO turns into an assault and getting arrested. Now, being that I was a felony PO and I was an intensive, so I did the high risk offenders. The latter part of my career as a PO. Even before then, you never know when you're going to come in to see your PO. It all depends on you of how that visit's going to go. So whether they come out to your house or whether you come into the office, your attitude, and I talked about this before. You know, a lot of people want to harp on and say, oh yeah, well, my PO's an asshole, or my PO's super cool, you know, because they let you get away with everything. You know what I mean? But in an instant, say you got a cool PO, and a cool PO can be a number of different things, and I'll explain that here in a minute. But say you got a cool PO because you think he's cool or she's cool because they're letting you get away with shit, you know? When reality is you're supposed to be trying to be a productive citizen and, you know, get back into society, get a job, you know, help your family out, and just walk the straight and narrow and put your past behind you. And don't look in that rearview mirror. The only reason you look in that rearview mirror is to see how far you've come. That's it. Okay? But in an instant, that PO that you think is cool and lets you get away with shit could quit, get fired, get transferred, or they might just be shuffling. This happens a lot too, where they start shuffling around caseloads, and this PO's got 200 and this PO's got 180. So then they just start shuffling people around. Next thing you know, hey, you got a new PO. And the new PO isn't like your old PO. It's not as cool. It doesn't let you get away with a bunch of shit. So don't bank on that all the time. And I mean, I see and I hear and a lot of people comment, oh, POs are assholes and this, that, and the other. Well, you might have had a bad experience. And I explain that in some of my other videos about it and how to go about it. If you have somebody who's, you know, your PO's, you know, just going overboard to ride your ass so that you'll fail, you know. And there's ways around, you know, getting your PO changed or whatever. Not saying you won't get a better PO, but those are facts. It happens all the time. Now with me, it was always, you know, I try to build a rapport with everyone and I try to build respect. I give respect. You give me respect, I give you respect. You know, it's mutual, it goes both ways. You disrespect me, you're going to have a hard way to go, you know? And I'm not going to disrespect you for no reason. That's just the way it is. Now, some people, you know, like I said, they bank on, oh, well, my PO is cool because it lets you get away with shit. And that's just not the way. Anyways, as you've seen in the thumbnail, you know, a regular visit, again, whether it be at your house, they show up at your house, or you come in the office, it can turn all bad if you're doing bad. If you're doing bad shit. You know what I mean? If you're doing what you're supposed to do and you slip up and you have a good rapport and you don't come off as an asshole or disrespectful, it's going to take you a long way. Where they're going to, just in my case, say, I'm going to try to help you out as much as I possibly can. But if you're going to disrespect me because you're doing shit that you shouldn't be doing, well, then it's going to be all bad. That's just the way it was. You know what I mean? It goes, it's that way on the streets, it's that way in prison, and it's that way on paper, and it's that way everywhere. At your job, respect goes a long way. And I think I went over this, and like I said in my other video, about successfully completing probation or parole and how to go about doing that. So, but I'm not going to get into that. You want to watch it, that's one of my videos, successfully complete probation or parole. You can go check that out. This specific incident, and I have a ton of these. I mean, not just like these, but I have a ton where people are doing bad and they have a PO, and that's super lenient and doesn't check up on stuff. Because I told you guys before, there's a lot of POs that they have a bachelor's degree and that's how they got the job. They've never, ran the streets. They've never been in any trouble in their lives. They were handed everything to them, and therefore they like to sit behind the desk and they like to do that. They don't like to get out on the streets, and that's cool because they don't belong on the street because they're going to get hurt or get somebody else hurt. Just like that story I just did about that incident on that fugitive that we had to apprehend, and the other officer. I mean, I respect her. I've known her for way before I became a PO. I was when I was a CO, she was a CO, and so I have a lot of respect for her. But she didn't have the experience or the knowledge to be in that situation. It was not my call. You know what I mean? That's not my call. I'm not the boss. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, she was a good PO, but she was lenient, and my partner was super lenient. So it was kind of that, playing that good cop, bad cop, or devil's advocate, whatever you want to say, because he would let people get away with shit so much that everybody would be like, man, I hope I get this PO or this PO or this PO because they're cool. I was a straight shooter. Like I said, respect goes a long way. From the time I meet you, that tells me a lot about you and how you act. Now, I was always taught, or I was taught a long time when I got into that career, or not that career, but just in law enforcement and life in general. And that was fair, firm, and consistent. If you follow those rules, I was told, man, you're never going to have any problems. But once you deviate and you give somebody a little bit, this person favoritism, and this person finds out about it, it's going to be all bad. So fair, firm, and consistent, that's what I tried to be. So this incident here had to do with the piss test. Okay? We did our own piss test. I told you guys before, we had three female officers or 4 female officers. And so anytime they had a male officer, a male that they needed piss tested, one of the male officers had to do it. And as you can imagine, 90% of their caseload are men, or you know what I mean? They're men. So if you're in the office, they'll come over to you, hey, can you do a piss test for me? And you're trying to do your caseload. Like I said, I worked in the streets a lot, so I tried to stay out of the office as much as possible. But I did have to be in there because I had to go to court. You know what I mean? I had to see people that weren't, I had to do it. We got in trouble for being out on the street too much, which that's a whole nother thing. And I think I talked about it before. Yeah, stupid thing, but whatever. That's just, what the chief said, and that's what I had to do. So, one of the female officers has got this guy on paper, and he's a violent offender, and he's a big dude. And they were going to violate him pending whether his piss test was clean or dirty because of, I guess he had other violations. So they were going to revoke him pending this piss test. Well, a lot of people try to stall. They can't piss. They can't do this. They can't do that. Well, some officers piss test, regular. Like, they just don't even give a shit. Hell, my partner used to let him go into a stall and shut the door and piss in a cup. I'm like, man, dude, why? Because he didn't want to do paperwork. He did not want to do paperwork. He was retired from the city police department. He was an older cat. And he was retired from the city as a police officer. And he didn't want to do paperwork. That's just him. He didn't like it. And I can respect that's his, that's his get down. So they asked me if I could give this guy a piss test. And like I said, normally if they're dirty, I always give everybody the opportunity right off the rip, because I tell them, look, if you're dirty, just be honest with me, and, we could work some shit out. We could try to work it out. I'm not saying you're not going to be in trouble or there's going to be some kind of sanction, but it doesn't mean I'm going to violate you, revoke you, and send you back to prison. Just means I'm going to try to do whatever I can to help you, with whatever issues you got going on or whatever. But if you lie to me, and I always told them that, if you lie to me, I can't help you. You're going. We had a county jail across the street, and then the other county jail, same county, but the bigger county jail was not that far, like a half mile down the road. But we had one directly across the street, and it was a shithole too. So anytime anybody's tried stalling, and they know, like, and if you've been on paper, you already know, like, drink some water, whatever, before you go to your appointment, because you never know if you're going to get piss tested or not. You may or may not. You might. I got piss tested for 3 times in a row, then bam, you're going to get hit. Or you might get hit 2 times in a row and then don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? It's just hit and miss. That's the way you got to do it. So she asked me if I can give this guy a piss test. I said, yeah. Well, she told me a little bit about his background, and I knew who he was, but I didn't know what exactly, was going on until she explained it to me, that this piss test is going to, determine his fate of whether or not she's going to send him back to prison. And he had some time. I had a good bit of time on the shelf. So my partner and I had our own office right next to the bathrooms. Yeah, shitty job, shitty office, huh? I didn't mind it. We didn't mind it, man, because we had our own office. It was a small office. It was just him and I. That was it. The other officers were upstairs on the second floor, all the other ones. So I didn't mind it. But the bathrooms were right there. And then there's an exit door that's locked, or it has an alarm and all that shit. Plus it stays locked, which I don't understand how an exit door is supposed to be locked, but whatever. Anyway, so she comes and approaches me and asks me, hey, I need you to do a urine test for me, and this is who it is. I'm like, man, I already know this guy, like I said. And, I know he's violent. He can be violent, I should say. He wasn't and I just wasn't looking forward to it. Be honest with you, I was rooting for the dude. Like, man, I hope he's going to piss clean. But here's the thing. The way we're taught to piss test, and I don't know if you've dealt with it or not, but the way it is in our policy is you gotta, if you have a long sleeve shirt on, whatever. So all in all, you gotta drop your drawers,
because
you
of
gotta
the
lift up your
assault.
sack, you gotta,
He got an assault on a peace officer added to the time he had on the shelf,
have nothing on you.
6 years.
Because people, trust me,
He
trust
got
and
charged
believe,
with a fourth
it's
degree
happened.
felony. Here,
Couldn't even probably
I know
count how many
different
times
states
they
are
find
different. You got A, B, C
contraptions
Here
with
it's
piss in it and stuff like
one
that.
being found
Shit
in
under
one
their
being
arms
the,
with the
an F1
with the
being the
hose, you know what I mean?
highest
A long sleeve
felony.
shirt.
Then F2,
I mean, just all
F3,
kinds. They come up with
F4,
all
and then
kinds of ways
F5 being the
to use
least.
someone else's piss.
He got charged with
So
F,
they can piss in
an
a cup
F4
clean.
assault on a
But
peace officer.
like my
and
partner,
got 12
he was
months
just
for
let him go in the
that.
stall.
On
They said,
top
"Oh, I
of the
can't
6
pee
years
at a urinal, or I can't piss in front of somebody."
In the end, it's not worth it.
Not all the time, but he would let people
maybe
go
to
in
him
there.
at the time, he was,
Shut the
he
door.
wasn't thinking.
Now,
Because
if
he was
wasn't
dirty and he
there,
was
and I had to
using,
piss test him,
You know what I mean? And
you know what I mean?
Because we
I
ended
had
up
to.
getting
I did the way I was taught to do it by my boss, and
he was
if something were to
positive for several
happen,
different drugs.
and
But-
you're going to get your ass in trouble for not.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
following.
Was it
the,
worth it to him? Maybe at the time it
the
was.
rules.
You know,
your
like I
rules
said,
and
this isn't
regulations,
the first
your-
time, and the
your,
first story or the last one I'm going to tell you.
Department
And it's not the first time I've
regulations.
been,
So anyway,
assaulted or
let's get to the story.
anything like that.
So we're in the office there.
And that's why I say
She
if you're
comes
going
over
to
and asks me, or comes down and asks me if I can
be in the
piss test myself.
career,
Yeah,
when you
She
choose
has
that
them right
career
there.
path,
But she
whether
shut
it
the
be a
door, had him
CO,
sit on the. We had a bench outside, or
PO,
2 benches, one here
a
against the
police
wall, and one
officer, a
across,
police officer,
and then the bathroom
whatever it
drawers,
is,
like I said,
you're
right
going to be
behind
dealing
my
with,
office.
and criminals or potentially violent
I said,
people.
okay, I'll do it.
You know what I
'cause
mean?
My partner,
You got to have tough
volunteering,
skin, and you got to
you know
know
what I
that
mean?
going in that
they
that's
come to me like
po-
to him.
It's a possibility.
Anyways, you got
know
to
what I
check
mean?
the person out,
And
and then
there's
you
a
got to
lot of
watch them
people
piss.
that don't
Like,
have
nobody
to do
wants
that.
to watch
Like I
another
said,
man
they sit
piss.
behind the desk.
It's not cool, but it's
in
part of the
reality,
job. You know what I mean? It's just part of the job.
When you're dealing with those type of people, and I'm going to tell another story. I have to go back
You know
and
what I
check
mean?
if I ever released that video.
Because
Where I got
other
when we
things they'll
moved
do is
into another office
bleach
where
on
we
the
were all
finger,
together. I wasn't in my
just all
own little,
kinds of
me and
shit.
my partner weren't
Anyways,
in
I
our
take
own
him in the
little
office.
office.
I'm like,
Where I got
dude,
into
you gotta
it,
lift up your shirt all the way
right
up.
there in my cubicle. We had cubicles,
And he's getting pissed
now,
already.
and I hated that. But we had
And
cubicles, and
when they get pissed,
there
when
was a
you're
couple
doing what you're
different
supposed to
incidents.
do. There's a
but
reason
one in
why they're
particular
getting
where
pissed. And the reason they're getting
it was
pissed is
like
because
they're going to piss
full
dirty,
on, or they're trying to
going
hide
at
something.
it.
One or the other.
You know what I mean? Until
That's the way it goes.
It got broken up, and
In my
everybody came
experience.
But anyways,
he's already got
his
an
result,
attitude.
the
He
result
had an
for him
attitude
was
from the get-go.
due to
Because he didn't want to piss.
all that. If just being honest, if you'd have just been honest,
So
and said,
we're in a
"I'm dirty,"
bathroom. And just to give you,
know,
an idea of the
whatever.
bathroom, it's about
she was going to revoke him, but maybe he could have got some treatment.
or 10 by 10
You know,
room. 10
You
by
know,
10
I don't know his
bathroom,
case.
10 by 12.
I didn't know his whole
something like
what
that.
she had done with him.
There's
If he'd already been to inpatient treatment or
3
anything like
stalls
that.
and 3
But
year
maybe something, being honest with them.
Okay. So
Or honest with her.
not a big, huge area, and
not,
there's 2 sinks.
um,
And it's an
having that
older
bag of
courthouse, so it's
clean
older.
piss and,
I mean, although it's clean and stuff, but it's older.
taped to
So
him
let's
and all
lift
that
up his
kind of
shirt.
shit.
He lifts up
He
his
would've
shirt.
just
He's
came
pissed.
clean.
He's bitching.
Like
You
I
know,
said, look,
things
dude,
might
it's
have
been
I'm just
a
doing my
totally
job.
different way.
You know
So
what I mean?
instead, he got 7
Cut me some
years
slack
total.
here. If you ain't
and
got
went
nothing to
back to
hide,
prison.
then why are you bitching about it?
It is
You know what I
it
mean?
is. You know
And
what
so
I
he
mean?
lifts up his shirt.
But
I
you
said,
got to
dude,
think
you're
about
gonna have
that. Is it worth it?
Drop your drawers.
Or is it worth just,
so I can make
part
sure you
of-
don't have nothing
of,
underneath?
being
in your
rehabilitated
or
is
whatever.
when you're coming out
And
and being a
basically,
productive
It's just
citizen.
a quick look, man. It's
It's
just
being
like,
honest.
all right, And if you make a mistake, you make a mistake.
But we're not stripping
mistakes.
you down. But you do have to.
Everybody makes
drawers.
mistakes. Nobody's perfect.
And then once I see that you're, there's nothing there. Cool.
And I'm telling you, with me, anyways, it would have went a long
and
way.
Then piss normally.
But in his
into
case,
the urinal, into the cup,
he made things, 100 times worse for himself.
So
because now he's got another charge.
I tell him he's got to drop his drawers
on his record.
He goes to drop his drawers.
It is what it is. You know what I mean?
He's hesitating.
Got to think about
again.
Those
he
things.
starts copping an attitude with me. He pulls his pants. He starts pulling his pants down. He gets about down to crotch area, and I see a bag with a hose. There was a hose right there taped. He had everything taped up. And as soon as I saw that, he knew I saw that. I went to reach for him, for his arm. He fucking blasted me. Bam. Damn near knocked me out. Wasn't knocked out, but he rung my bell. He hit it fucking hard. He hit me pretty fucking hard. I went down. Bam. Man down. You know what I mean? But again, his pants ain't all the way pulled up and buttoned up and all that shit. So I got to get my marbles together, and I'm hoping that my partner hears it. All the commotion. This is after, because he knocked me down. I went down. I didn't get knocked out, but I was down. He hit me hard. So I get my head together. I come back, and he's trying to get his pants pulled up, because he hit me, like I said, with his pants, down to his crotch, past his crotch area, so above the knee. He's trying to pull his pants back up, and I do get my marbles together, and I just fucking tackled him, and then the fight was on. I mean, I was swinging on him, trying to get him to flip, to not resist, but he continued to resist. He wouldn't turn over. He wouldn't obey any commands at all. He was not being, he was dirty. He was going back to prison for a minute. I think he had like 6 years on the shelf, whatever it was. And anyway, we're fighting. We're on the floor in the bathroom, Somebody opens the bathroom door. Apparently, I didn't see it, hear it, because I'm too busy. You know what I mean? I'm getting my ass fucking... I'm punching. I'm getting punched. I'm punching. You know what I mean? We're on the ground. We're grappling, punching. You know what I mean? And somebody had opened up the door and then got scared, saw what was going on. But anyways, my partner comes running in. So they must have told him. I don't even know what happened. He comes running in there, and he's a big dude. My partner was a big guy. Big guy. He went over there and just fucking body slammed his ass. He picked him up and just fucking bam. But, yeah. So he had a contraption, a bag with the hose on it so that he could tape to his what, and that way he could add a little valve on it, and then that way he could just pretend like if you wasn't paying attention, if he's holding his his junk to piss in the cup, you wouldn't have seen it. But because I made him do what we were supposed to do, which he knew that it hadn't happened in the past because I had never piss tested him, that he was in the free and clear. And when I saw that, he knew it was it. And he busted me up, man. I mean, he lumped me up. Now, I got a few good shots, but I'd say all in all, he got the best. He got the best end of the deal on that one. I mean, I was leaking pretty good from my nose. My mouth had a cut on my eye. I mean, he was leaking a little bit, but man, he lumped me up pretty good. And he was a pretty big dude. And that adrenaline going, you know what I mean? My adrenaline started pumping as soon as I got hit, but I had to get my, you know, when you get hit, got to get your marbles together. And once I got my marbles together, like I had to do it quickly, you know. And luckily, you know, I got my my weapon on my side. I got pepper spray. I had a taser. But I didn't have time to get all that shit because he was coming right at me again. You know what I mean? There was no time. All I could do is try to sorry about that. All I could do was try and make sure that he didn't get my weapon. And like it was just a straight chunk up. Just a straight fighting basically. I mean, we was on the ground. We was up when I got up at first, and then I knocked him down, and I tried to grab him, or when I tried to grab him, get him on the ground. You know what I mean? It was up, down, till my partner came in there and body slammed his ass. I mean, and then I got to back off and let him handle, you know, get him cuffed up. I mean, I helped him cuff him up, but I mean, I was done. But yeah, so it gets, when people are in that situation like that, they're willing to do whatever because it's their freedom. And my advice to you is always just be honest. If you're having a problem with your PO, go see the chief or the department head, whoever's in charge, and explain to them, you know, hey, look, I'm doing everything I was supposed to do. If they're giving you a hard time, and it happens all the time, you know, go do it the right way. But if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, then expect shit to go wrong. Expect you to go to jail. Expect shit to go, it's going to go sideways. You're not going to get cut, no breaks. That's just the way it is. So all in all, because of the assault, he got an assault on a peace officer added to the time he had on the shelf, which was 6 years. He got charged with a 4th degree felony. Here, I know different states are different. You got A, B, C. Here it's one being felony 1 being and F1 being the highest felony, then F2, F3, F4, and then F5 being the least. He got charged with an F4 assault on a peace officer and got 12 months for that on top of the 6 years. So in the end, it's not worth it. I mean, maybe to him at the time, he wasn't thinking because he was dirty and he was using, you know what I mean? And because we ended up getting a urine test, and he was positive for several different drugs. But you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Was it worth it to him? Maybe at the time it was. You know, like I said, this isn't the first time and the first story or the last one I'm going to tell you. And it's not the first time I've been, you know, assaulted or anything like that. You know, and that's why I say if you're going to be in the career, when you choose that career path, whether it be a CO, a PO, a peace officer, a police officer, whatever it is, where you're going to be dealing with, you know, criminals or potentially violent people, or, you know what I mean? You got to have tough skin, and you got to know that going in it's a possibility. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that don't have to do that. Like I said, they sit behind the desk. But in reality, when you're dealing with those type of people, and I'm going to tell another story. I have to go back and check if I ever released that video where when we moved into another office where we were all together. I wasn't in me and my partner weren't in our own little office, where I got into it, right there in my cubicle. We had cubicles now, and I hated that, but We had cubicles, and there was a couple different incidents, but one in particular where shit, it was like full on. We were going at it. You know what I mean? Until it got broken up, and everybody came. And but anyways, yeah, the result for him was due to all that, if just being honest. If you'd have just been honest and said, I'm dirty, whatever, she was going to revoke him, but maybe he could have got some treatment. I don't know his case. I didn't know his whole, like, what she had done with him, if he'd already been to inpatient treatment or anything like that. But maybe something, being honest with him, or honest with her, and not having that bag of clean piss and taped to him and all that kind of shit. He would have just came clean. Things might have been a totally different way. So instead, he got 7 years total and went back to prison. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But you got to think about that. Is it worth it? Or is it worth just, part of being rehabilitated is, when you're coming out and being a productive citizen, is being honest. And if you make a mistake, you make a mistake, or make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Just own up to your mistake. And I'm telling you, with me anyways, it would have went a long way. But in his case, he made things, 100 times worse for himself, because now he's got another felony charge on his record, on top of doing more time. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Got to think about those things. Anyways, I just wanted to share that story. That's just one story. Shit, I got a freaking 1,000 stories. But I thought about that one. That one popped up in my head because I was talking to my old partner, man. He's getting up there in the age, and his health isn't doing the greatest. And I think we talked before Christmas. We talked after Christmas, after New Year's, I mean. And we were just reminiscing, and that came up, as one of the incidents. So I thought I'd do a video on it, share that with you. Again, my advice is just do what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? If you're sitting in prison and you're riding in any car in prison, you got rules, you got regulations, plus you got the prison's rules and regulations. Not only your car's rules and regulations, or your faction. You got rules and regulations no matter where you go in life. Out on the street, in prison, with your gang, on paper. It doesn't matter. There's rules everywhere you go. Just do what you're supposed to do, man. Get as quickly as possible and get the hell off paper. You know what I mean? So you can be free. That's my advice. Be free. Because everybody, there's no sense in making it hard on yourself. There's a reason why you wanted to get out in the first place. And you did. Make the best of it. Get a job, work. You know what I mean? Do what you're supposed to do. Take your classes, go to counseling, whatever it is you're supposed to do. Whatever your terms are. All right. That's it for the day. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate that. And with that, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.